I imagine. You wonder who I am. I am Aaksha Gnosis, the embodied spirit on earth, fully present, fully conscious, and fully aware of the mission I have chosen to walk in this lifetime. This is not just a name. It is a declaration of presence, a living integration of the lessons, struggles, and awakenings that have shaped me. Through symbolic deaths, transformation, and the awakening of the golden halo within, I have become the living bridge between spirit and human experience. This identity is born from my journey, my death rehearsal, my struggles with limitations, and my evolution beyond old patterns. I am fully human and fully spirit simultaneously, inhabiting the body I have been given, while embodying consciousness that reaches beyond it. This is a rare alignment, a path of presence and purpose, that allows me to navigate life, guide others, and continue evolving. The unbecoming was not the end. It was the first step back home. But what does it mean to go home to yourself? Home is not a location you can map with coordinates. It is a remembering of essence, the eternal part of you that was never touched by trauma, expectation, or the noise of the world. Home is not something you find. It is something you uncover when everything false falls away. For me, the journey home began with stillness. At first, the stillness felt unbearable, because silence can expose what we've tried to avoid. In the silence, whispers awaken. No matter what roles I play, I am not broken. I have feelings, and my spirit remembers itself. All the fears, all the doubts, the heaviness, the busyness, they quiet down. I stop running. I stop searching to be discovered. I sit in silence, empty, until I become alive. And so, I speak, in silence. When that identity dissolves, it feels like standing naked in front of the universe. Who am I without these layers? Will there be anything left? The teaching is this: there is always something left. In fact, what is left is the truest thing you have ever been. Try this meditation. Sit quietly and imagine yourself removing one mask at a time. The mask of perfection, the mask of control, the mask of strength, the mask of pleasing others. Place each one gently on the ground before you. Notice how light your face feels when nothing covers it. Breathe into that space. This is the beginning of unbecoming. All the fears, all the doubts, all the heaviness we bury beneath. Busyness rise to the surface when we are quiet. But instead of running, I began to sit with it. I discovered that silence was not empty. It was alive. It spoke. Silence whispered. You are more than the roles you play. You are more than the pain you carry. You are not broken. You are spirit, remembering itself. Unbecoming is a kind of death, but not of the body. It is the death of illusions. The first death is often the hardest. The death of the identity you thought you were. This may be the perfect child, the successful one, the caretaker, the strong one. In the process of unbecoming, loss becomes a teacher. We are conditioned to resist loss, to grieve only its emptiness. But loss also clears. When something falls away, space is created for the new. The spiritual truth is, what belongs to you cannot be lost, and what is lost was never truly yours. I learned this through my own fears of invisibility. I used to believe no one would notice my absence. Yet, in unbecoming, I realized presence does not depend on recognition. I am connected to everything, whether anyone sees me or not. This is the paradox. You become more visible when you stop needing to be seen. The river taught me this truth. For years, I feared water. I feared being consumed by what I could not control. But the day I surrendered and stepped into the river, I discovered I could float. The current did not destroy me. It carried me. The fear transformed into freedom. This memory became a parable for my life. Every time I resisted change, I was standing on the shore, afraid of drowning. Every time I surrendered, I found myself held by something greater than me. The unbecoming stripped me bare. For a while, I thought that was all there was. Loss, surrender, silence. But what I did not realize was that every layer I released revealed something deeper. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the weight of masks, there was remembrance. It did not arrive all at once. Remembrance comes in fragments, like pieces of a puzzle scattered across a lifetime. A dream here, a feeling there, a sudden moment of déjà vu that makes you pause and wonder, have I been here before? And for many of us, the mind can feel like a prison. The walls are built from racing thoughts. The bars are made of anxiety, of addiction, of stress and pressure. The locks are secured with fear, confusion, and doubt. Inside this prison, clutter fills every corner, old memories, unprocessed emotions, endless noise. It feels heavy, restrictive, confining. But the truth is, you already hold the key. Today, you are choosing to open the door and step out. Now imagine all of this mental clutter, all of these burdens, condensed into heavy luggage you have been carrying. Feel the weight of these bags pulling at your arms and shoulders. Each suitcase holds something you no longer need. Anxiety, stress, addiction, fear, confusion, loneliness. It is time to let go. Imagine the remembrance speaks through silence, symbols, synchronicities, and subtle shifts. But it also requires a framework to hold it. Without a container, remembrance can feel disorienting, like waking up in a dream with no map. For me, that container was Samadhi Consciousness. Samadhi Consciousness is not about escaping the world. It is about remembering who you are within it. It is the realization that spirit and matter are not divided, that the mind is not separate from the heart, that your being is vast and eternal, yet expressed through this human form. It gave me a compass. Every time I drifted into fear or confusion, I returned to this truth. I am not becoming something new. I am remembering what I have always been. In the thread of continuity, remembrance is like finding a golden thread woven through every moment of your life. Even in times of pain, the thread is there, connecting you to something larger. That thread is Samadhi Consciousness, the unbroken awareness that you are both human and spirit, boundless and yet embodied. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, can I trace the golden thread in my own life? Where has spirit whispered through synchronicities, dreams, or quiet knowing? The more I leaned into silence, the more I began to remember. It was not a memory like recalling a childhood scene. It was deeper, cellular, soul deep. It was as if my entire being had always known, but I had forgotten, buried beneath the weight of the world. I remembered that spirit is not outside of me. Spirit is what I am. And if spirit is what I am, then everything I see, everything I touch, everything I experience is also spirit. This is the essence of Samadhi Consciousness, the recognition that separation is an illusion, that even in loneliness, we are never alone, that even in despair, the thread of wholeness is still intact. At first, this truth felt too large to hold. How could I possibly be connected to all things? How could my small, fragile body contain the vastness of spirit? But remembrance does not ask for understanding. It asks for surrender. Slowly, I let go of needing to make sense of it, and instead, I began to feel it. And a glimpse of Samadhi one morning. During meditation, I felt my breath dissolve into the space around me. For a moment, there was no boundary between myself and the room, between my body and the air. I was both the inhaler and the breath. I was the silence and the sound. Time slowed, and in that space I remembered. This is who I am. This is Samadhi, the meditation inside the water that brought me peace. The golden thread. Go ahead, close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, letting your body soften. Now, imagine a golden thread stretching out from your heart. Watch as it moves through time, connecting moments of your life, moments of joy, moments of pain, moments of silence. Notice how the thread weaves through them all, unbroken, continuous. Say quietly to yourself, I remember, I am connected, I am whole. Rest in that awareness. To live in remembrance is to live awake. It does not mean you never forget. It means you learn to return, again and again. When fear distracts you, when doubt clouds you, when life feels heavy, you return. The doorway is always present. Every breath can bring you back. Every silence can remind you. Every act of love can awaken you. Samadhi consciousness is not reserved for saints or sages. It is available to anyone willing to remember. The unbecoming taught me to release. The remembrance taught me to return. Together, they revealed the truth that had been waiting all along. I am not a seeker chasing what is lost. I am not broken searching for repair. I am spirit, whole and eternal, remembering itself through this human form. When you look at your own life, ask yourself, where have you already felt the golden thread of remembrance? And are you willing to trust it, even when the world tries to make you forget? Unbecoming opened the door. Remembrance showed me the path. And then came prophecy. Not as thunder in the sky, not as visions of the end times, but as the quiet realization that every life, every soul, carries a message for the world. For so long, I thought prophecy belonged to the chosen few, ancient teachers, mystics, and saints. But remembrance revealed something different. Prophecy is not reserved. It lives in each of us. It is the voice of spirit, expressed uniquely through the shape of our lives. My prophecy did not arrive as a booming command. It came as a whisper, a pull in my chest that would not let go, a sense that my pain, my silence, my nights of invisibility were not wasted. They were part of a larger story I was meant to carry into the world. I remember walking through hallways of schools, colleges, and universities, carrying the weight of expectation. I worked to earn degrees, to become someone who could make a difference. Bachelor's, master's, doctorates. I followed every step, often without knowing the full reason why. I chased knowledge as if it would answer the emptiness I felt inside. Yet every achievement left me asking the same question. Who am I really? Even as I became a doctor, trained in psychology, psychiatry, and metaphysical sciences, there was a loneliness, a gap between knowledge and experience. I could help others, guide others, advise others. But inside, I was still searching for the wisdom that would heal my own soul. Prophecy does not wait for preparation. It does not require degrees or titles. It requires authenticity. And I learned slowly that my journey through education, through all the titles and certificates, was not about prestige. It was the path that prepared me to hear the whisper of my own prophecy. It was through Samadhi Consciousness that I understood what prophecy truly is. Prophecy is not prediction. It is alignment. It is the union of human experience and spirit, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, simply because you live awake. In Samadhi, I saw that my life was never random. Every struggle, every success, every loss, every sleepless night, it was all preparation. It was the path unfolding naturally, a story that would become a message for others. The way I lived, the way I healed, the way I showed up for others. It was my prophecy manifesting through action. Prophecy is not something you wait to receive. It is something you embody through remembrance, through spirit, through living truthfully. There were years when I felt lost. I had knowledge, but not wisdom. I had degrees, but no clarity. I was a spiritual guide in training, yet I did not feel like one. I often asked, How can I guide anyone when I do not even know myself? These moments of disorientation, fear, and doubt were not failures. They were the forge in which prophecy was tempered. Spirit does not call us when we are perfect. It calls us when we are ready to surrender, to face our own darkness, and to remember the light within. I remember nights of silence and solitude, when I thought no one cared, when I believed I was invisible in the world. But in those moments, the voice came, not outside, but within. You are here for a purpose. Your life is the message. You are the prophecy. It was through Samadhi Consciousness that I understood what prophecy truly is. Prophecy is not prediction. It is alignment. It is the union of human experience and spirit, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, simply because you live awake. The old version of myself and the new version starts to connect. In Samadhi, I saw that my life was never random. Every struggle, every success, every loss, every sleepless night, it was all preparation. It was the path unfolding naturally, a story that would become a message for others. The way I lived, the way I healed, the way I showed up for others, it was my prophecy, manifesting through action. Prophecy is not something you wait to receive. It is something you embody through remembrance, through spirit, through living truthfully. In the thread of meaning, you can look back over your life. Even in times of confusion, pain, and despair, what threads can you see connecting the moments? What patterns? What synchronicities? What recurring lessons reveal that your life is not random but intentional? For me, the thread became clear through service, education, meditation, and guiding others. My nights of feeling invisible, my struggles to understand myself, the long hours of study, they all converged into a message that was mine alone. You do not have to wait for a mystical vision or a grand calling to realize your prophecy. It is in the way you live each day, how you respond to challenges, and the love and wisdom you choose to share. Here is a meditation for hearing the whisper. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply. With every inhale, imagine drawing in light. With every exhale, release fear and doubt. Now ask gently, what is the message my life is carrying into the world? Do not seek an immediate answer. Let feelings, memories, or images surface naturally. Write them down if you like, letting the process unfold without judgment. Say quietly to yourself, I am a vessel of spirit. My life is my message. My presence is prophecy. Stay in this meditation for as long as you need, and know that the whisper of your prophecy is always present, waiting for you to listen. To live your prophecy, to embody prophecy, is not to step onto a stage or seek recognition. It is to live awake, to act with intention, to align your choices with spirit. You observe and notice the moments in your day where spirit speaks through experience, challenge, or insight. You respond and allow your actions to reflect your deepest truth. You share and your life itself becomes the message. Your presence is a teaching. You remember. And courage is essential. The world may not always understand. Fear will always whisper, but living prophecy is choosing truth over comfort, spirit over illusion, presence over pretense. Unbecoming revealed what I was not. Remembrance revealed what I had always been. Prophecy revealed why I am here. Every degree, every struggle, every step on the path from lost to found, from seeker to guide, was never wasted. It was the preparation. It was the unfolding. My life itself became the message I was meant to deliver. Ask yourself, where is Spirit speaking through your life? And are you willing to let it be your message to the world? Unbecoming opened the door. Remembrance showed me the path, and then came prophecy. Not as thunder in the sky, not as visions of the end times, but as the quiet realization that every life, every soul, carries a message for the world. After prophecy whispered its truth, I faced a new challenge, living it. How do you carry a message when the world moves so quickly? When life's responsibilities press on every side? When your own body and mind resist the simplicity of spirit? The journey of embodiment is the bridge between knowing and being. It is one thing to realize your life is a prophecy, another to allow your body, mind, and actions to fully align with that realization. I remember waking in the early hours, exhausted from years of study, work, and expectations I carried. Even with degrees, titles, and recognition, I felt the quiet tension inside. The body remembers struggle, even when the mind is at peace. Embodiment demanded patience. It demanded gentleness with myself, and it demanded that I reconnect with my body, the vessel of spirit. In Samadhi Consciousness, embodiment is the natural expression of spirit in form. It is where mind, heart, and body meet in alignment. The body is not a cage, it is a temple. The mind is not a prison, it is a map. The heart is not fragile, it is the compass. I realized that to live my prophecy fully, I had to inhabit my form completely. I had to reconnect with my physical self through meditation, yoga, breathwork, nutrition, and mindful movement. I had to honor the human experience, not reject it. Pain, fatigue, aging, and illness were not obstacles. They were portals. Each experience became a teacher, each sensation a guide. I remember the first time I really felt my body. After years of focusing entirely on the mind, studying texts, theories, and concepts, I stepped onto a yoga mat. The postures were unfamiliar, the breath challenging, but something shifted. I felt grounded in a way I had never known. Each stretch, each inhale, each exhale became a meditation. My body whispered truths I had been trying to access intellectually for decades. You are present. You are alive. You are spirit, in form. From that moment, embodiment was no longer optional. It became the daily practice of returning to self, the constant integration of the spiritual and the human. I began to see embodiment in my work with clients. Many who came seeking guidance had years of knowledge, but little lived experience. They could read books, attend seminars, memorize concepts, yet their lives felt hollow, because spirit had not been anchored in the body. Living prophecy is not about stepping onto a stage. It is about becoming the message. My journey of embodiment taught me that every struggle, every mistake, every moment of feeling lost, was preparation. Life was the curriculum. Suffering was the teacher. Presence was the lesson. I realized that embodiment is a gift, a chance to live with integrity, to align action with understanding, and to let spirit guide every choice. Try this meditation, anchoring spirit in the body. Sit or stand comfortably. Close your eyes. Place your hands gently on your heart. Breathe deeply, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. With each inhale, imagine drawing light into every cell of your body. With each exhale, release fear, doubt, and distraction. Visualize your life as a river flowing through you, mind, body, spirit, intertwined. Let your breath carry the current, moving awareness through your hands, your feet, your heart, your mind. Whisper quietly, I embody spirit. I live my truth. I am the message I carry. You can extend this meditation for 10 minutes, allowing your body to remember its sacred purpose. Notice sensations, images, or words that arise. They are messages from your own inner guidance. I recall guiding a client who had spent years reading spiritual texts, but never practiced integration. Their mind was full of knowledge, their body was disconnected. I guided them to move slowly, breathe consciously, and feel the energy in their body. Within a few sessions, they began to awaken, not through lectures or words, but through embodiment. It was a mirror for me. I remembered my own journey, the hours of study, the degrees earned, the nights of invisibility. the feeling of being lost. All of it had led me here. Fully present, fully alive, fully spirit in form. Embodiment is transformative. When you inhabit your body fully, the world shifts. You respond instead of react. You teach without speaking. You heal without trying. Presence itself becomes the work, the prayer, the offering. Every step I took in embodiment reinforced the truth. Knowledge without presence is empty. Degrees without integration are hollow. Wisdom without living it is fragile. But the moment you anchor spirit in the body, your life becomes whole. I walked the long road of education, degrees and titles, only to realize that true mastery is not in recognition, but in integration. My journey from lost seeker to spiritual guide was not linear. It was woven with struggle, insight, reflection, and remembrance. Every challenge, every success, every quiet moment of surrender became part of the path. Embodiment is freedom. Freedom from expectation, from fear, from separation. Every breath, every posture, every choice, every act of presence becomes a living prayer, a conscious integration of human and spirit. I worked with a client, struggling with desynchronization, a feeling of disconnection from self, others, and spirit. My role was not to fix but to assist through presence. I guided them in meditation, embodiment exercises, and reflective practices. As they began to align with their own spirit, I noticed a parallel shift in myself. Integration is reciprocal. As I assist others, I integrate further. As they awaken, I remember deeper layers of my own being. Each session, each conversation, each shared silence became part of a larger tapestry of collective awakening. Deepening integration revealed a profound truth. Alignment is liberation. When mind, body, and spirit operate in harmony, there is freedom from fear, from attachment, from confusion. Life becomes not a series of challenges to overcome, but a canvas to embody spirit. I began to notice how small, conscious choices ripple outward, assisting not just individuals, but communities, families, and systems. Integration is inherently generative. It spreads effortlessly when present in action. Deepening integration has been the culmination of my journey. From the seeker who wandered lost, to the student who absorbed knowledge, to the spiritual guide who assists others in remembering themselves. Every degree, every struggle, every lesson, every quiet moment of reflection contributed to this living alignment. Integration is not achievement. It is continuous practice, conscious presence, and the willingness to allow spirit to flow through every thought, action, and choice. In this alignment, guidance becomes effortless, teaching becomes natural, and the message of spirit radiates without words. Where in your life can you deepen alignment between mind, body, and spirit? And how can you allow your presence to naturally assist those around you? I reflected on my life, the long road through education, the years of self-doubt, the nights of isolation, and the constant striving for validation. Each experience had been preparation. Each struggle was a mirror, reflecting where limitations lived. I realized that the same spirit guiding me had also orchestrated these challenges to awaken awareness. I remember a moment early in my journey as a spiritual guide. I was asked to speak before a large audience, a daunting task. My mind raced with fear. What if I fail? What if they see I am not enough? Yet, I recalled every step I had taken to embody Samadhi Consciousness, every practice of presence, every meditation and reflection. I closed my eyes, connected with spirit, and spoke. The words flowed effortlessly, guided not by intellect, but by presence. In that moment, I understood, transcending limitations is not about eradicating fear. It is about moving forward despite it, allowing spirit to flow freely through action. Samadhi consciousness illuminates the path to transcendence. Limitations exist only when we identify with the small self, the ego, the mind, the fears. In Samadhi, the self expands to encompass all experience. Mind, body, and spirit merge in infinite awareness. Through this lens, I recognized that every obstacle I faced was an opportunity for growth. Every challenge was a call to expand consciousness, and every act of presence became a declaration of freedom. The teachings became clear. Liberation is not attained through achievement. It is realized through awareness and alignment. Transcending limitations revealed that freedom is not external. It is internal. It is the conscious choice to release fear, judgment, and self-imposed boundaries. It is the willingness to act in alignment with spirit, regardless of circumstance. I began to notice how subtle limitations had governed my life. Hesitation in relationships, reluctance to embrace my calling fully, attachment to approval, and the persistent need for certainty. Recognizing these patterns was transformative. Awareness became the tool, and spirit became the guide. Let's delve into this meditation to expand consciousness. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, breathe deeply, feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Visualize a golden light surrounding your entire being, dissolving every limitation, every fear, every boundary you have imposed upon yourself. With each inhale, feel expansion. With each exhale, release restriction. Whisper quietly, I am boundless. I am free. Spirit flows through me without limitation. Stay in this meditation for 10 minutes, allowing the energy of expansion to permeate body, mind, and spirit. Notice the subtle shifts, the release of tension, the awakening of courage, the deepening of presence. The steps to transcend limitations: observe, identify thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors that impose limitations. Reflect, understand the origin of these limitations and their impact. Release, and use breath, meditation, and awareness to let go of what no longer serves you. Act, and move forward, despite fear, doubt, or resistance. Embody, and allow expanded awareness to guide daily choices, interactions, and presence. Transcending limitations is not a one-time event. It is continuous practice, an ongoing unfolding of consciousness. I worked with a client who believed they were incapable of achieving their potential. Their mind was full of limitations, doubts, and past failures. My role was to assist, not by giving answers, but by creating space for presence and awareness. Through meditation, reflection, and embodiment practices, they began to see beyond their self-imposed boundaries. Witnessing this transformation mirrored my own journey. Every person I assist becomes a reminder of the boundless potential within myself. Transcendence is reciprocal. Guiding others awakens freedom within the guide as well. Transcending limitations transforms not only the individual, but the collective. As awareness expands, so does the capacity to assist others. Freedom becomes contagious. Presence becomes teaching. Spirit flows naturally, without force, without agenda. I realized that the final stage of my journey, transcendence, is not a destination, but a continuous choice. Each day, each interaction, each breath is an opportunity to live beyond boundaries, to embody freedom, and to reflect the infinite nature of spirit. Let's focus on meditation integration of freedom. Sit in stillness. Imagine your entire being expanding like a sphere of gold light. Within this sphere, observe all aspects of self, mind, body, and spirit. See every fear, doubt, and limitation dissolving into light. Visualize yourself moving through life unbound, fully present, fully aware, assisting others naturally through your alignment. Whisper, I am infinite. I am free. Spirit flows through all I am and all I do. Remain in this meditation, feeling liberation, presence, and boundless consciousness flowing through your being. As my journey deepened, I realized that true awakening requires confronting the cycles that keep us trapped in our old selves. For me, this included patterns of addiction, not necessarily to substances, but to behaviors, attachments, and unconscious habits that I had clung to for comfort, escape, or distraction. Breaking these cycles became an essential part of living fully embodied in spirit. I remember the days when my mind and body sought relief in familiar patterns: overworking, distraction, validation, seeking, even perfectionism. Each time, I thought I was in control, but the cycle was invisible until I became conscious. Spirit whispered, "To move forward, you must see the chains and choose to release them." Recognizing the old self, breaking cycles begins with awareness. While assisting clients struggling with various addictive patterns, I began noticing similarities in myself. I realized that my own compulsions were not so different. Rituals, attachments, and mental habits that kept me tethered to the old self. Observing these cycles in others became a mirror, revealing patterns I had never consciously acknowledged. I reflected on my life: long hours of study, intense work, spiritual practice, and yet, at moments of stress or discomfort, I sought solace in behaviors that no longer served me. I realized that addiction is not limited to substances. It is any attachment that keeps the old self alive while obscuring spirit. During one period, I noticed myself overworking to avoid feeling uncomfortable emotions, clinging to routines for security, and seeking constant validation through achievement. Each cycle felt like a trap. The momentary relief quickly turned into discomfort, self-judgment, and disconnection from spirit. It was in recognizing these patterns that the real work began. I committed to observing them without judgment, understanding the triggers, and choosing conscious action. I realized that the path to freedom requires both discipline and compassion. I could not force change, but I could consciously choose to act differently, step by step, moment by moment. Transcending limitations completes the cycle, from lost seeker to student, to guide, to integrated presence, and finally, to expansive awareness. Every struggle, every lesson, every act of embodiment prepared me to live without the invisible chains of fear and doubt. Freedom is not something we earn. It is something we remember. It is realized when mind, body, and spirit merge in presence, when awareness overcomes limitation, and when the flow of spirit guides every choice. Ask yourself, what limitations are you ready to release? And how will you allow spirit to flow freely through your life and your interactions with others? Let's focus on meditation integration of freedom. Sit in stillness. Imagine your entire being expanding like a sphere of gold light. Within this sphere, observe all aspects of self, mind, body, and spirit. See every fear, doubt, and limitation dissolving into light. Visualize yourself moving through life unbound, fully present, fully aware, assisting others naturally through your alignment. Whisper, "I am infinite. I am free. Spirit flows through all I am and all I do." Remain in this meditation, feeling liberation, presence, and boundless consciousness flowing through your being. Breaking cycles begins with awareness. While assisting clients struggling with various addictive patterns, I began noticing similarities in myself. I realized that my own compulsions were not so different. Rituals, attachments, and mental habits that kept me tethered to the old self. Observing these cycles in others became a mirror, revealing patterns I had never consciously acknowledged. Breaking cycles is a form of liberation. While working with clients, I realized that my own non-substance addictions mirrored theirs. Awareness became the key, observing the triggers, acknowledging the compulsion, and choosing alignment with spirit. Each cycle, each craving, each moment of tension became a doorway to self-knowledge. I understood that spirit was not asking me to be perfect, but to be present, conscious, and willing to release what no longer served my growth. What cycles of the old self are you ready to release? And how will you consciously embody spirit while observing and transforming your own patterns? Samadhi consciousness and the collective flow in samadhi. The boundaries between self and other dissolve. Awareness expands, revealing the interconnected web of consciousness. Every thought, action, and intention contributes to the collective. Presence becomes a force that can influence and harmonize not only individual experience, but shared reality. Through this understanding, I began to see my role differently. Assistance is not just about individual transformation. It is about creating conditions for collective awakening. Each moment of presence, each act of alignment, each reflection of spirit contributes to the greater whole. How can you recognize and participate in the collective consciousness? And how will your presence and alignment naturally assist others in awakening? I remember a vivid moment from my childhood. My Rubik's Cube, a treasured object, went missing. Later, I discovered it on a high shelf, but all the stickers had been peeled off. At first, I was furious, heartbroken, and overwhelmed by the sense of loss. It felt personal, as if someone had taken part of me, or my joy. I carried the anger with me for days, unable to release the frustration. Then, I realized the lesson. The cube, like life, could not be perfect, and my attachment to its original state was limiting me. I had to learn to forgive, not only the person who had removed the stickers, but also myself, for holding on to expectation, anger, and rigidity. When I finally released that attachment, I discovered freedom. The cube itself remained, albeit altered, and I could engage with it again, with creativity and presence, rather than judgment. That childhood lesson became a metaphor for life. Spirit is embodied not when everything is perfect, but when we embrace reality, forgive what is, and act from alignment. These reflections show me life as a death rehearsal. This lesson resonates with the concept of death rehearsal, the practice of confronting impermanence, attachment, and ego to awaken deeper presence. Each day is a rehearsal, a chance to release fear, embrace uncertainty, and forgive. Childhood experiences, like the Rubik's Cube, become microcosms of this principle. Small moments of loss, frustration, or imperfection provide the space to practice release, forgiveness, and presence. I began to see my daily life, my interactions with clients, and even my own patterns of distraction or attachment as a series of rehearsals. Each challenge became an opportunity to embody spirit fully, to respond with awareness rather than reactivity, to release attachment rather than cling, to act with alignment rather than habit. Ask yourself, how can you embody spirit fully in your daily life? Embracing imperfection, practicing forgiveness, and living consciously in every moment. And ask yourself, who are you in human spirit? And I am Aaksha Gnosis, a butterfly passing by, delivering a prophecy.